We have the fencing in the park staff, or in the parks department.
Okay. Council, do we have any other questions?
Just curious, when decisions of this magnitude are made, now you, in this case, is this something that also your advisory board is involved in discussions?
I didn't take it to the advisory board for, this. I can't recall if Steve at previous meetings, because, the previous, when the previous budget was set, it was part of the supplemental, so it's been in there for a little bit. But I can't remember if Steve took it to them or not. But I personally have not taken it to the advisory board.
But here's my point, if we get sod, if they've got enough sod, I guess you're getting it out of South Texas. That's down by Victoria, which I don't know where their farm is, but.
I would have to see,
Yeah.
because I'm relying on, our park superintendent, who's on the Texas Turfgrass, board, so trying to figure out where to get the sod from and all that.
Well, I mean, it doesn't, I know where it's grown, so it's grown down in Victoria, but they truck it up here in rolls, and then you just lay it out. But if you got it in here by the 1st of June, even the 1st of July, you're gonna have growing season, July, August, and September, to get the sod down in really good shape. Whereas if you sprig it, you may get it up, well, again, I've got the same problem with not having a clean surface to do it with. That's the problem. So, that's where I am.
Okay, so, there are a couple of questions, well, quite a few questions, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and here's the thing is we're coming out of supplemental, we keep hearing this supplemental. You know, we're in May, June, July, we're coming up to the end of the last quarter. We're gonna go into budget session. So there, you know, in my opinion, is that we're looking into going through the supplemental monies that we've had in place. One is, and you may not have the answer to this, but I'm going to pose the questions to you. Question one is, if this was put in place by the former director of parks, Mr. Pan, when was it put in place? When was the negotiation agreement being discussed with about, you know, this needed to happen? For the reason is that because, let me recall, and y'all might need to help me on this. When was it that we ended when the associations all left UTPB? Was that last year or the previous year? Was that in 21 or 22? 21.
I think that's right.
So from 21 to 22, the association has been there. So when did the issue come up about we needed to redo the fields? And because the thing is that the associations made the decision to go play there. They also uprooted the equipment at UTBB and then permanently placed it at Sherwood. According to their association rules, it has to be permanently fixed. I asked other people about, you know, is that the case? So everybody has a different definition. And so there had to be a discussion that, you know, these changes needed to be made. And at one point, became the conclusion is to do the spring, not knowing a darn thing about grass other than you water it, and you don't water it, and I'm not watering because of the cost of the water, is was there ever a discussion with the association that they participated? The other one is, I think Mr. Thompson, you know, he knows a lot about grass, he's worked on a lot on fairways and golf courses, that I think that we'd be remiss of us not to go down that route and ask about it. Here's my final question, is that since we're seeing a signed document here by Tom Hopkins Construction, you know, so how committed is the city already, or how committed? It's signed right here. This was there's no date on it. So, are we committed to this now? I guess that's my question. Is this signed in granite?
Tommy has nothing, Hawkins Construction has nothing to do with the sprigging. It's Thomas Turfgrass.
Oh, Turfgrass, I'm sorry.
So there's nothing,
There's nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing, we don't have to be bound to do this project at all or anything like that. I was just coming
Okay.
for the consideration.
So can we do a little work and, see what the cost is?
Yes.
For, was it?
For
you were
sod.
saying For sod.
Yeah, for sod.
For just Sherwood? And were we
I-
okay with the?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, I don't mind trying to sprig the dog park. I think
Okay.
that would be probably appropriate, but you probably need to put down some kind of base material.
Correct, yeah, we're looking to add more dirt because from my understanding, what I've been told by our park superintendent, that the area where the dog park is used to be a baseball field, so they
did.
sprayed a bunch of chemicals. So we're gonna try and remove some of that layer and bring in clean dirt
Bring
to
in
do
clean
that,
That
yes.
was the bigger field, that was used for soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mayor, it looks like that was May 10th.
May 10th.
Mm-hmm.
May 19th bid request. Okay. So.
There's what the sprigs look like on a putting green.
Oh, okay.
You can't even tell they're
Yeah, you
sprigs.
can't even tell sprigs.
Fill in, so we're just glad to share.
So
it.
council, we need some direction here. So is council okay with the 4 acres, which is 174,240 square feet for sod distribution to Tipper with the spring it?
Sprig,
Spring.
sprigs, yeah.
And then do we want to go out and see the options for the sod on the 14 acres?
Yes.
Okay.
I would, yes. I really think we're throwing good money after bad if we don't.
Okay. So, Matthew, that's what the council can, consensus on, let's go forward.
And then you asked the question about if, I don't know if the association's been asked to contribute to the whole overall project, but I've asked them about the leveling and grading for that, so,
What'd they say?
and they're open to that.
Okay.
And they made and it's about, they said that a city requirement for contractor and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what the city rules are, so I just need to figure that aspect out because they do have some volunteers that have experience with grading and leveling, so. But they said that in past years, it's been the city requirement to have a contractor come on board. I don't know if that's true or not, because I wasn't here, so,
Well, yes and no.
okay,
And so.
Insurance.
Yeah, it's not just
It's
the
just the
rent-
insurance part of it.
okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
not
need to
just-
maintain that, in case somebody falls into a hole or anything like that because they left the hole open or something.
Yeah, there's always been a touchy subject in the past years with associations doing actual work, infrastructure, things of that nature. I used to be on the board at Floyd Gwynn many moons ago, and so that question kept being posed. There was policy, there isn't policy. I've never seen a policy, and so that's a really good question, and it's something we need to address. So let's tackle one thing at a time. Let's go ahead and let's see about the sod, and then we'll address the other issue. And I'll ask Dan to start looking into that as far as what the policy is, and see if they can offset some of the costs, if we can allow them to do some of that leveling. And if not, then we know where the negotiation will go from there. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair.
Council, any other questions, any other direction? Now, we do have a time limit on this, don't we? On the springing?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's
sprig, yeah, it probably needs to get down pretty quick, doesn't it?
correct,
Yeah, but the sprigs are pretty easy to come by, I think. I mean,
yeah.
Mr. Mayor, can we look at least doing the 4 acres of sprigging, because we've kind of all agreed to that, so can we
Yeah.
just do that one first,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah. Let's move
that way
forward.
we're not slowing up on the dog park getting done.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just move forward on the 4 acres. We'll
Because
go forward with
if
that.
we're able to afford the sod, if we don't get it down to the 1st of July, it'll be okay.
Okay, anything else on this? Man, we made this more complicated than that to be. There's your son.
That's the way it comes.
All right, sounds good. Matthew, anything else on this?
No, sir,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
We're gonna move on to item 6, discuss authorizing the Odessa Police Department to utilize awarded funds for 2023 bullet-resistant shield grant program. Chief Gergen, this will be easy.
Hopefully. Nothing has been so far today, but
I'm just glad you got back from DC in one piece.
so am I.
Did you wear your blue uniform up there?
I did.
Oh, good for you.
This is a request to, we've already been awarded $33,000 from the governor's, Office of the Governor, the Public Safety Office for Criminal Justice Division for bullet-resistant shields. This is just giving us authorization to spend that money on those shields. We have a quote from RTS Tactical that will allow us to purchase the 60 shields that we want for the $33,000 that we've been awarded. This is a supplemental thing. What I mean by that is that we already have multiple units with shields. These are just, we're trying to make sure that every unit, not just patrol units, but detective units, all those units have those tactical shields in those vehicles.
Okay.
And Chief, you may want to add, this is actually money from next year that we're bringing back to this year to use this year.
That is correct.
If that makes any sense.
That makes good, that's good. Council, any questions? Chief, anything else you want to add on this?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to item 7, discuss prohibiting minors' access to parks during school hours without a legal guardian present. So, in the Mayor's Drug and Crime Commission meeting, which we had, was it last week? I posed a question, because we were meeting on fentanyl presentation, and what we're going to do, and how we're going to disperse, and things of that nature with the monies that we wind up receiving. So I posed a simple little question, was basically, in lieu of what happened, everybody believes this, in lieu of what happened with the graffiti that happened at Optimus Park. It's got nothing to do with this. So, over the course of the last 29 months that I've been mayor, there's not a time that doesn't go by that I'm getting calls from parents, things of that nature, about a large congregation of kids at the park. So when I posed the question, some of the feedback is that not just kids, it's also adults. So it looks like this congregation in Loitering has moved around from businesses, and now, right now, it's predominantly at the park. So there's a lot of opinions about this. So how it came about is someone that I knew was not aware of the situation, saw it, took pictures of it, gave me a call, and had a conversation with an ECIC officer and said something, well, if the city would do this, and the city would do that. And so I posed just a simple question. Is there something that we can and cannot do? And so everybody started throwing out ideas. Okay, so what's the effect of that? And what's the effect of this? And what's the effect of this? So each scenario has an effect on the community and things of that nature. So in the end, in the conclusion, I wind up directing our legal department, our city attorney, to look into, is there something that we can wind up doing? Anything that we can broach, have a conversation, and this is what this is. This is a conversation. By no means, am I meaning that we have come up with a conclusion. So, in general, Mr. Jones has come up with an article -1, it's general provisions, and this is within our charter, right?
It's already in there. In fact, it's section 11319, and it's in parks and playgrounds. It's already a part of our ordinances. Under B, you could actually go under and actually make it unlawful for any person to enter upon or remain at any park facility or park property within the city after being advised by posted notice. So theoretically, we could come up with signs that could say, well, if you're a school-age child, you're supposed to be in school, you can't be here from 8 to 5 during school hours without a guardian, an adult accompanying you.
So it's not something that needs to be created, it's something that already exists.
Right.
Now, the thing is that, is this a tool that can be enforceable by law enforcement or things of that nature? So, this is something that, wanted to, discuss here today. provide the information.
And Mayor, I might add as well, we have spoken to Chief Jeff Daniels, not the actor, but the CISD chief. And he is open to possibly coming and talking with us. And so if that's something that you would like for us to do, we can reach back out to him and see if we can't collaborate and come up with something that's amenable to everybody.
So basically, this is something that was adopted in 11/23/10. So it's not something that's new, it's something that's been present. And so wanting for the council to have this information, have a discussion, talk with your constituency, and then we'll invite ECSD, have a conversation. The thing is that school's about, what, Thursday?
I think it's, yeah, a couple days it's done.
Thursday. And so the thing is that it gives us ample time to have a thorough discussion and see. The thing is, there's no sense in posing something that, isn't gonna resolve the issue. But the thing is that there was a commentary that, hey, the city needs to pass something. Well, no, we don't. Well, let's see what we have.
We already have tools. We just
Yeah,
have
we
to,
already have tools.
we just have to pull them out of the
Yeah.
toolbox. Very simple.
And so that's what we wanted to have a discussion, so.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I don't see like a time agreement or anything on here. Maybe we need to add something like a time agreement, what times we're gonna be open and what times this park is closed. And do an open and closed parks. After this hour, this park's closed.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too, after talking to Chief Daniels, that it might be feasible to have something along the lines of, okay, from 8 to 3, whatever time the school hours are, if you're a school-aged child, and you're supposed to be in school, then you cannot be at the park unless accompanied with an adult.
An adult or a parent?
A parent, adult, so we could tinker with the language, but that's what we were discussing. So there's all kinds of options. I think this is something, like the mayor says, that we need to have a conversation with. Y'all need to talk to your constituents about it, see what they're thinking. And, of course, Councilman Vasquez, you know as well as I do that truancy has no teeth anymore. And so the problem is we've got these kids that are basically running off from school and going to the parks and just hanging out, and that's not good for them.
And that was a conversation came out of the drug commission, is that I was unaware that there was no longer, you didn't force truancy. I mean, and that happened, what year?
2013,
Yeah. So that
we're
was-
going on 10 years.
Your example is well taken. I, for years, have seen the congregation of school-aged students at Crump Park on 10th and, I want to say Washington. But here's the thing about the wording that's on here on the work session. It says discuss prohibiting minors. And then I heard other language said unless accompanied by an adult. We need to be very careful about, okay, first of all, what constitutes a minor? What age? What constitutes what constitutes well, yeah, an adult. Also, we're trying to say if you're attending school, no matter what age you are, you shouldn't be at these parks during school hours.
And
That's what I'm hearing.
then there we go, UTPB's kids, Odessa college kids, they could be 25 years old, an adult, walking around in the park. And so that's what I'm saying, this is a discussion that y'all need to have, and of course, have it with your constituents as well. Because this is it looks simple
It's
until
not.
you get into it.
It's the weeds.
Right.
Right, yes, sir.
And that's what I kept saying. I mean, this has been in the book since 2010, and there's a reason why it doesn't work. And so, that's why I think we need to have a conversation. There's no, we don't
There's
need
no
to
right
do
or wrong on this.
fast track. I mean, something's coming on, we've got at least 2 months
Yeah.
to have that discussion. Great questions, and it's something that needs to be taken into consideration. Is there anything else?
Be interesting to see comparative cities too.
Yeah,
Love it.
do that.
Abilene.
Do the regular pick six. Who's our pick six?
That is Midland, Amarillo, Lubbock, Abilene, Wichita Falls, and San Angelo.
All the way to Wichita Falls?
All the way to Wichita Falls.
That's the outline.
The outline?
Yeah, always gotta have one of those. Anything else, guys? All right, seeing that there is no more business before this, city council in this work session, do I have a motion?
Yes, in the
to adjourn?
absence of Mrs. Swanner, I so move that we adjourn.
I have a motion by
I second.
Councilmember Vasquez, second by Councilmember Haney. All in favor indicating by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed indicating by saying nay. Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned.
And I, before you finish.